He basically was jugging a jug. Now, normally you jug a pint. This guy's drinking a 4 pint jug. And I was just intrigued to see if he could finish it. And he finished it and then got kicked out. So, fair play.
Professional darts has transformed into one of sport's most unexpected spectacles, where fancy dress crowds and chaotic fan interactions now rival the actual competition for attention. Around 100,000 fans pack the World Championship every year to participate in what PDC chief Barry Hearn calls the biggest party in the world, and some of those moments have crossed lines nobody saw coming. Beer chugging traditions broadcast live to millions, a trophy heist that left security scrambling, and viral FIFA pack openings that turned a teenage phenom into a cultural icon. These verified incidents show why darts culture operates by rules that don't exist anywhere else in professional sports. January 2nd, 2017, and Michael van Gerwen was destroying Gary Anderson in the World Darts Championship final at Alexandra Palace. The score sat at 6-2 in sets. MVG was preparing to throw for the match, and that's when a man in blue foam hands rushed the stage and grabbed the Sid Waddle trophy. Lee Marshall, who went by Disco Boy and belonged to a YouTube prank group called Troll Station from Sturry near Canterbury, held the trophy above his head while security tackled him. They recovered the trophy within seconds, but the match momentum shattered completely. What happened next reveals just how unprepared the sport was for this kind of disruption. PDC Chief Executive Matt Porter admitted there was regrettably no legal recourse available, which meant no arrests and no prosecutions followed. Marshall walked away with nothing more than a lifetime ban from PDC events. Van Gerwen handled it with the professionalism you'd expect from a world number one, telling reporters afterward that "You always get people like that who try to be funny, and he's not allowed to do that, so he probably won't see another darts match in his life." The match resumed, with Anderson taking the next set before Van Gerwen steadied himself enough to close out a 7-3 victory. Former finalist Mark Dudbridge saw the bigger picture and warned that people running on stage should not be promoted on social media because this can seriously hurt darts and encourages further problems. That warning established a boundary in darts culture that hadn't existed before. Crowds could be rowdy and distracting and even outrageous, but physically interfering with the trophy or the players themselves meant you'd crossed into different territory entirely. The European Darts Open in Leverkusen, Germany, March the 25th through 26th, 2023, gave us a moment that captured everything about authentic rivalry in modern darts. Rob Cross was walking on for his quarter-final against Riccardo Pietreczko when a fan wearing Michael van Gerwen's green shirt held it out for a signature. Cross stopped like he might sign it, recognised what he was looking at, and his response came out unfiltered. "I won't sign that shit." He bumped fists with the fan anyway and kept walking. Context makes this moment sing. 3 months earlier, in January 2023, Van Gerwen had torn into Cross after losing to him 10-7 in the Masters quarterfinals, calling him a boring player and saying, "You either have that or you don't. Either you're a player with character or you're not. He just doesn't have it." MVG went further and described Cross as a creep with that stupid smile, which weren't subtle jabs about playing style, but direct attacks on Cross's entire personality and entertainment value. Entertainment value matters in a sport that increasingly depends on crowd engagement to drive television ratings and prize money, so Van Gerwen's words carried weight beyond typical trash talk. The same fan reportedly tried this stunt with other players, including Gerwin Price, and got shut down every time. Cross and Van Gerwen eventually cleared the air, with Cross explaining that, "Me and Michael had a chat about it. He's good like that, you know. If he's got something to say, he'll say it, and so will I. We've cleared the air. It's all good fun." But that moment in Leverkusen captured raw emotion that fans love precisely because nobody had scripted or rehearsed any of it. February 22nd, 2024, Premier League Darts Night 2 in Newcastle, and Luke Littler was walking on for his quarter-final against Peter Wright when a fan in a dartboard costume held out a phone. But this wasn't the standard selfie request that players get dozens of times per event. The fan had loaded up FC24 Ultimate Team with a pack ready to open. Littler stopped mid-walkout, thousands watching live on Sky Sports, and opened the fan's FIFA pack right there on camera. The clip went viral before the match even finished, and Littler posted to Instagram afterward with "cheeky FIFA pack" on the way to the stage. 1 week later, on February 29th at Premier League Night 5 in Exeter, another fan pulled the same move and Littler obliged again. Viewers with sharp eyes spotted he pulled Italian forward Domenico Berardi from the pack. These moments connected because they showed who Littler actually is rather than some manufactured version created for cameras. Littler is famously devoted to FIFA, having spent £500 of his £200,000 World Championship prize money on FIFA packs, and he's been photographed playing the game in practice rooms before major matches. Peter Wright had joked before Newcastle that he planned to steal Littler's phone as a distraction tactic. Opening a random fans pack during his entrance wasn't calculated brand building, but a young player being himself, and fans responded to that authenticity with overwhelming support that's helped turn him into the biggest star the sport has seen in years. Fans chugging beer on camera has become as traditional to darts broadcasts as walk-on songs and check-out celebrations, with crowds erupting every time the cameras catch someone in fancy dress downing a pint in record time. December 28, 2024, during the 2025 World Championship, Nathan Aspinall was playing Andrew Gilding when Aspinall paused his match in the final leg of the 4th set to watch a fan dressed as a hot dog down an entire jug of beer. The Ali Pali faithful roared approval, someone captured it and posted the clip online, and within hours it had gone viral across sports media. Back at the 2021 World Championship, Darius Labanauskas hit a 9-darter and the fan celebrated by dumping an entire pitcher of beer over his own head. These moments embody what separates darts from every other sport: the celebration of excess, the party atmosphere that says anything can happen and probably will, but alcohol at darts events has a dangerous edge that occasionally surfaces. During the 2019 World Championship, which took place in December 2018, Michael Van Gerwen had beer thrown at him by a spectator during his walk-on. Security removed the person immediately and slapped them with a lifetime ban, while Van Gerwen had to change his shirt and explained that the only thing I could do was change my shirt and wash my hands as it was all over my arms, and we throw darts with our hands. That incident drew a clear line. Fans drinking on camera are part of the show. Fans throwing drinks at players earn lifetime bans. Just this year, in March 2025, during Premier League Darts Night 5 in Brighton, someone threw a pint at Nathan Aspinall during his walk-on before the final against Luke Littler. Aspinall had a heated exchange with referee Hugh Ware about it, and Littler commented afterward that, "I think there was a pint thrown at Nathan as soon as he came up on the stage. Crazy." The PDC finds itself constantly recalibrating where those boundaries sit between entertainment that drives ticket sales and disruption that threatens player safety. No player has absorbed more sustained crowd hostility than Gerwyn Price, and the entire situation traces back to one match on November 18, 2018. Price faced Gary Anderson in the Grand Slam of Darts final in Wolverhampton, and the match featured aggressive celebrations and constant bickering that escalated until Anderson shoved Price on stage. The PDC responded hard with a £21,500 fine and a suspended 3-month ban for Price. But the real punishment came from the crowd at every event afterward. The hostility peaked on January 1st, 2023, during the World Championship quarter-final when Price faced Gabriel Clemens. As the 5th set started, Price returned wearing ear defenders to block out the booing, hit a 180, and gestured to the crowd that he couldn't hear them anymore. He lost that match 5-1. Price told reporters afterward that the crowd were horrific, they are every year. But the situation had gotten severe enough that before the 2024 World Championship, he admitted, "I was sat in my house at 6 o'clock and probably wasn't going to play the tournament." A world champion was considering withdrawal from the sport's biggest event because of crowd abuse. which stops being entertainment and becomes something much uglier. The PDC banned ear defenders during match play after that incident, though earplugs remain legal. But the Glasgow whistling chaos in February 2025 showed that policy changes don't solve crowd behaviour problems. During Premier League Night 2 at the OVO Hydro, persistent whistling targeted Price throughout his semi-final against Luke Humphreys. Price shouted, "Fuck off" at hecklers. Referee Kirk Bevins tried intervention via microphone, which only made things worse, and the PDC issued yet another statement saying, "We wish to strongly reiterate that we do not condone any behaviour which can disrupt an event, such as whistling or booing when players are throwing." Statements don't quiet crowds though, and Price's experience raises questions about how far pantomime villain treatment can go before it crosses into genuine harassment. Darts crowds have created positive traditions that define the sport's atmosphere in ways other sports can't match. Stand Up, "If You Love the Darts" gets belted out to the tune of "Go West" by Pet Shop Boys approximately every 5 minutes at major events, and the chant became iconic enough that Phil Taylor and Rick Arena released an official version on Spotify in 2018. Chase the Sun by Planet Funk somehow became an unofficial PDC anthem around 2005, with lead singer Marco Baroni confirming that, "I think the PDC first asked us sometime in 2005 whether they could use Chase the Sun as a kind of theme song, and we quickly gave our approval." An Italian electronic group's 2000 single, becoming the soundtrack to British darts, represents the kind of unexpected cultural fusion that makes the sport special. Individual player walk-ons have taken on their own lives entirely separate from the matches themselves. Stephen Bunting's Titanium has become a sing-along moment where Alexandra Palace crowd serenade him, and Japanese player Motomu Sakai's entrance to anime song Ojamajo Carnival at the 2024-25 World Championship earned descriptions as one of the greatest walk-ons of all time. The positive viral moments show fan culture at its best too. December 19th, 2018, during the World Championship, Hospitality guest Ollie proposed to his partner Natasha during a commercial break in the Brendan Dolan vs Joe Cullen match. Sky Sports captured it live. Both players applauded on the big screens, and the PDC announced, "She said yes" to a roaring crowd. Celebrity sightings add layers to the atmosphere that other sports can't replicate. Ed Sheeran, Peter Crouch chugging down a pint on camera, Jack Whitehall, Roman Kemp, footballers Kyle Walker and Matty Cash. All documented in crowds that treat celebrity fans the same way they treat everyone else. Even nature participates. The Alexandra Palace Wasp has achieved cult figure status after Adrian Lewis got stung in 2012 and went on to win his second world title, while at the 2025-26 championship, Nitin Kumar's dart actually caught a wasp mid-flight in what might be the most improbable intersection of sport and insect ever captured on broadcast television. Current PDC policies state that fancy dress is permitted, except for costumes which are deemed politically insensitive or offensive, with high-vis vests specifically banned following the Price ear defender situation. Club football colours aren't allowed either, presumably to prevent rival fan conflicts from spilling into darts venues. The behaviour standards explicitly state that offensive language, shouting out, whistling, booing or otherwise heckling during play may lead to ejection without warning, and drunkenness will not be tolerated. Prohibited items include fireworks, aerosols, darts, flagpoles, umbrellas, weapons, bottles, cans, helmets, balls, inflatables, bags larger than A4, and imitation weapons. The gap between these written policies and what actually happens at events reveals the enforcement challenge facing the PDC. Rules exist on paper, while many of the incidents we've covered still occurred despite security presence and official guidelines. Barry Hearn, who built modern professional darts into what it is today, sits firmly in the entertainment camp and describes darts as sports entertainment and a world-class sport that's played at a party. When Saudi Arabia approached about hosting the World Championship but couldn't permit alcohol, Hearn's response was, "Can we have alcohol?" And they said no. So I said, well then you can't have the darts because we are the biggest party in the world. James Wade backs this view and argues that crowds can get out of hand, but they're there to enjoy themselves, and if a player can't get on with that, then that's our fault. Nathan Aspinall represents the opposing perspective and has called for 5-year bans for whistlers, saying, "A lot of darts games are determined by the crowd because the standard is that close. Missing one dart at double 16 on a 109 could lose you that game, and then some calling head whistles." A 2023 study published in Nature supports Aspinall's position and found that real crowds appear to have a negative impact on darts performance, with checkout percentages dropping measurably when audiences are present. The implications cut deeper than annoyance. If crowd noise genuinely affects outcomes, and outcomes determine prize money, tournament seedings, and career trajectories, then disruptive fans aren't just creating atmosphere, but potentially altering professional sports results in ways that affect players' livelihoods. Professional darts has built a fan culture that doesn't exist anywhere else in sports. Beer consumption gets celebrated on broadcast, fancy dress is practically mandatory, and a teenager opening a FIFA pack during his entrance becomes a beloved tradition that defines his connection with audiences. The incidents documented here, the 2017 trophy theft, Luke Littler's FIFA moments, Rob Cross refusing to sign an MVG shirt, the sustained harassment that made Gerwin Price consider withdrawal, reveal both what makes the sport unique and what threatens its balance between entertainment and athletic competition. Darts is wrestling with its own identity in real time. The party atmosphere draws 4.8 million television viewers to World Championship finals and fills Alexandra Palace with 100,000 fans annually. But that same atmosphere created conditions where a world champion almost withdrew because of crowd abuse. The PDC celebrates the beer-chugging hot dog fan while condemning whoever threw a pint at Nathan Aspinall, and nobody has figured out where that line should be drawn or how to enforce it consistently. Barry Hearn's vision of the biggest party in the world continues expanding as prize money increases and mainstream attention grows. Players keep navigating crowds that shift from adoring to hostile within the same evening. The PDC issues statements and updates policies while security tries to manage fans who paid good money to be part of the show. The next viral fan moment will happen whether anyone wants it or not. Whether that moment celebrates what makes darts special or crosses another line nobody saw coming depends entirely on which lessons the sport chooses to learn from what's already happened. These epic fan reactions define professional darts culture because they force everyone involved to ask fundamental questions about what this sport should be, and nobody has agreed on the answers yet.